Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard about Exodus? This new gaming franchise with a potential so massive that it could rival Game of Thrones, some people say on Twitter? Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, and you're probably wondering, what the hell is this about? I'm here to tell you all about this game, so let's keep the hype going, shall we? Here's everything we know about this new and extremely promising sci-fi universe. The first reveal of the game was at the Game Awards back in December 2023, and thanks to the presentation driven by Matthew McConaughey and an awesome reveal trailer, the game immediately started to gain attention. It is a third-person action-adventure single-player game with massive freedom and amount of choices that will have an impact in every single playthrough. The game is not linear, but the narrative is, so the missions won't be open world but linear with details and secrets in every corner, and you decide in which order you approach them. There will be a main city hub called Persepolis with a fully voiced customizable protagonist and female-male June options. June is the name of the protagonist that will have the same exact role of Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect trilogy, leading a crew across the stars who will be tasked with making morally great choices through the core mechanic time dilation. This means that your choices will have consequences that radically change the game for decades and centuries, because time for you passes normally on Exodus missions, but not for those you leave behind. For you it's days, for them it's years or decades. Your companions are affected by this, and there is romance in the game. The developers confirmed that the goal of this mechanic is to make each playthrough completely different with massive replayability and different endings. But enough with the chit chat, and let's go over everything we know about Exodus: Become the Traveler. Let's start from the beginning. It all starts at the beginning of the 22nd century, when humans exhausted all the natural resources of planet Earth and were forced to search for a new home in the distant stars. They used arc ships to set sail and eventually settled in the Centauri cluster, approximately 16,000 light years away. The descendants of the first arc ships to arrive became something more than human, completely alien, called the Celestials. They were constantly causing war to each other, and to survive these hostile environments they were forced to evolve through genetic engineering. This all takes place from the year 18,000 AD. In the meanwhile, new arc ships from Earth continue to arrive in the Centauri cluster, fighting to find their own way in this galaxy ruled by the Celestials. You are June Aslan, son of Orion Aslan, supreme ruler of the moon of Lydon in the Malak Bell system, and Ava, an actual Celestial, so you are the only person in existence with both human and celestial heritage. Through it, you are capable of interacting with celestial tech, using that to your advantage. Orion and Ava genetically engineered June because their home planet is dying due to a celestial-made technological virus called the Rot, not to be confused with the one in Elden Ring. While Orion ventured into space to find a solution, he also had another child, Gideon, who in his absence usurped Lydon's throne, forcing June into hiding. As far as June's story, he comes from humble beginnings as a scrap salvager with no clear direction, and slowly he will learn that he is destined to become the hero and the ruler of Lydon. He will not be evil, said the developers, but you can commit evil or questionable choices throughout your hero's journey. Don't imagine the Paragon Renegade system like in Mass Effect, because here is absent, but there is a reputation mechanic based on who you help or destroy. And this is the beginning of the story of the game. June is trying to survive on a dying world. Becoming a traveler is learning you are destined for something greater. So quite literally, from zero to hero. You will go through Exodus missions to save your planet from collapse, more of that later, in the search for tech that can do the job. You will travel across the galaxy through the equivalent of the Mass Effect relays from Mass Effect, the Gates of Heaven. Those will allow you to travel near light speed, and through them you will encounter time dilation, so your choices will have consequences for centuries or decades. For combat and gameplay, June will have weapons, progression paths, skill trees, and all of that. However, there is a main weapon called Orion's Gauntlet, showcased several times throughout the game, that you will use for combat and to interact with the environment in unpredictable and dynamic ways. Surprisingly enough, there is no ship combat. Your ship is just to talk with your companions and your girlfriends like in Mass Effect. Make of that what you will. Then we have June, the protagonist. What you see in the trailers is just a standard appearance of him. You can customize it, and they will show the character creator sometime in the near future. Now let's talk about the companions. The companions are listed as follows, but there will be more than those. For now, we don't know the difference between story companions and combat companions, but the difference, to be honest, is pretty obvious. These are the current confirmed companions on the website. We have Tom Vargas, the guy who escaped the Celestials in the first ever reveal trailer, Elise Charu, Salt the Octopus, Phaedra, an expert in combat, and Saliman, which is strangely similar to June. CC Orlev is instead the mysterious character voiced by Matthew McConaughey, and we don't know yet which role he will have, but I predict he will be a narrator of sorts. We also have Emrys, the Celestial, and this woman again, and finally this woman shown in the trailer and the wolf. Instead, this other celestial looking character has not been revealed yet. Each of the companions have an incredibly rich backstory, and the devs believe people will love them. In regards to romance, the devs confirm that even those have consequences. June will also meet other travelers from other dynasties. How exciting! Each dynasty has the common goal of elevating humanity, but divergence of opinions may lead to rivalries. Yes, there will be a codex similar to the one in Mass Effect that gets more detail with each interaction and discovery you make. Some of the enemies we will encounter are the silicates, which seem to be the result of celestial experiments in which humans evolved and are capable of transforming into a monstrosity, similar to Spider-Man or Venom in the movies. And from here, they can unite with another human body and form a new life form called Demon. And these ones are feared by the Celestials because they don't have control over their own actions and are prone to violence, but their true origin is unknown, and they might be the true alien thing in the Centauri cluster. Throughout the journey, we will also meet awakened animals and changelings, which are animals brought from Earth to be genetically engineered with the purpose of helping humanity, becoming more intelligent and more productive. The changelings specifically are used as a workforce due to their huge size, like the radioactive Arcavir and the hyper-aggressive Covens. But they're not the real enemy. Those are the Celestials, which are composed of a myriad of factions, such as the Crown Dominion, the Marayama, the Detoneer, and the Karlax Dominion. The Marayama are interesting because they travel across the galaxy to capture living humans alive because they feed on their psychological torture, literally. So they are essentially nightmare fuel. And the Crown Dominion has a very specific interest in June. So far, this is practically all we know about the story of the Celestials. Because in conclusion, Exodus is not about June, but is about humanity. The game is inspired by Knights of the Old Republic, Alien, Doom, Interstellar, Metroid Prime, and of course Mass Effect. June Aslan and Shepard share the same lead writer and narrative director Drew Karpyshyn, which alongside Peter F. Hamilton and Andrew Chakosky will create the world and the writing, with Hamilton also writing the book Archimedes Engine. It will be the beginning of a franchise with multiple games set in this new IP. It is developed on Unreal Engine 5 and will be available for PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. The studio, Archetype Entertainment, was founded in 2019 by Hasbro Wizards of the Coast and has veterans from Naughty Dog, Blizzard, 343 and Bioware. The devs also confirmed that there will be no generative AI. The game will be completely handcrafted. Massive W for the devs right here. This universe is massive and I will include trailers and the books. Very recently we also came to know that the actual leader of Exodus left the company, James Olen, because he quote-unquote felt his work on the game was complete, and he will remain with Hasbro as a creative consultant. I'm still positive about the game, but this is definitely a warning sign. Because again, this is literally the creator of Exodus, who was contacted by Chris Cox, the CEO of Hasbro, to start the game. Very bizarre. So for us Mass Effect fans patiently waiting for this game to hopefully fill that Mass Effect gap, we will have to wait until 2027. I expect this game to be released between February and April 2027. And that's it with everything you need to know about Exodus. This universe is looking so insanely promising, but as you know, only time will tell. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know your honest thoughts about Exodus in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Have fun, my friend. Have a nice New Year's Eve. Cheers!